session to remind the Board of Supervisors of Gila County, no discussion that can lead to any final action that relates to the agenda just discussed or any particular future agenda. All those discussions can be general regarding pending legislation, positions taken by the county with regard to pending legislation. So with that admonition, that's all I have to say.
Okay. Chairman, thank you, Joe. We appreciate you keeping us in order and all of that. So let's go ahead and I think it's help yourself, but we'll just make sure we're not talking about stuff we.
It's right there, right under that subway wrapper. Ladies. Grab some. Perfect. Yeah.
Did I say that?
Just give me a look.
No, I didn't. I'm with the important people at the seat.
Can I sit next to you?
They are. Come. Sure. Yeah, we've got lots.
Feeling very presentable.
And there's some other information too that I'll carry. On, properties that,
You don't want to.
that as county supervisors, pretty much done.
Yeah.
Can, but
I just
I'll do a little presentation of kind of what the issues are and where our hands are tied.
Oh, come on.
Mike, fiscal.
You can do the ice cream.
Oh, but his two cents.
Your phone. Very nice.
We can. Today, this is kind of a tool.
Oh, is it?
Just to give you some,
Okay.
of.
That's what I do.
Yeah, so that's fine. That'll kind of give you an idea of some of the issues that
This is something I ended up getting.
I'm facing. Go ahead. And these are properties that, as a county supervisor, I can't do anything. There's no. Is legislative can't. And I'll explain kind of a short version of 8 years of trying and changing our codes and things the best we can to do all we can.
I remember when we were talking, it's basically.
Yeah, but we have properties with no owners. I'll explain to you why.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. And those are the ones that.
But even the ones with owners though, you guys caught stuck with the bill.
I have my own.
No, we can kind of manage it because say I changed codes
Okay.
Afraid that will
to give us all the fight that we can. And it's working.
You always have more data. People have to put their name and address and numbers so you can figure out who they are, or what do you mean by?
I'll get it.
Okay.
So I don't have to do it.
Yeah.
I'll just do it once and it'll be short, sweet, hopefully.
I fell asleep on them. They snapped off. And I express ordered them like a month ago and it's still express waiting.
Oh.
Yeah.
Right behind you, buddy. I'll just kind of.
No, we're servants. We're servants. Get in there.
Oh.
Servants go last. What's your Remember the first show.
I wonder if we'll go, send a picture of that. That'd be kind of nice.
Just something that's affordable.
I wonder, that's nice.
We could ask them that before we leave if you want. Get the name of the system.
Let's send Heiser. Let's take a picture of it. Nope.
Me too.
Just in case I don't make it, I drop.
Yeah.
Make
We
sure I
need
got a
sugar.
nibble in the cookie.
You going? Right there.
I barreled out of the house, so I didn't eat this morning.
Oh, yeah. My cousin brought me tacos as a housewarming.
Very
By the way.
nice.
For breakfast.
Nice.
So when you guys taking me out to lunch in the valley? Come on, Andy, cough it up.
We're around until.
Oh, you might have to come our way.
I am, I live in your way. Yeah, I'll come your way.
Wow. Queen Creek's not.
I thought you were Mesa. You're all the way out in Queen Creek.
No,
East
East
Mesa.
Mesa, yeah.
Yeah. I thought.
Sure how these are from. Which one's first? I think it's like the album.
We can make.
How's that?
How's it?
Good. She's a babysitter.
Our
Time now.
Wouldn't want to put you guys out of your way here.
Cool. How old?
7 weeks.
Oh, that's. Okay, gotcha. Fresh.
Yes. Very fresh.
She's loving it, huh?
Oh, yeah. Yep. I get to share once in a while.
How long were you up in?
That'll be fun for Christmas.
Huh?
I said that'll be fun for Christmas.
I don't know, we might,
With the county? Or
like I said, we just got back. from
Yeah, it
Michigan
was,
County, so,
yeah, I
go
graduated
back to
college,
or
Illinois.
Go there.
Bought a one-way ticket to
went to Greece,
when I
yeah.
lived there. Couldn't find work there back in 1988. Accepted a job in San Francisco. I had an aunt in Ireland that lived in the city. Working in a catering kitchen. Food background, right? And I for Santa Clara. While I was working in the
Here,
airline,
after the primary, you just went off grid, man.
boom, they offered me the job.
Yeah, oh, he won. Talking
Santa
more.
Clara County?
It's helping counterpart. We're in.
There,
close-
there. I want to talk about the best kind of.
Ended up not too close though. Those some of those districts were
Oh,
like
thank
Donna
Oh,
Bullock.
you.
She was, you know,
Experience always.
she ended up doing
Hasn't
doing it.
Em Carter's my vice chair.
rat. Crazy.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Yeah.
I don't know her,
Would
so I need to
you on an island over there or what?
call her.
Oh really?
Another chairman.
I go, thank you.
That when I sat.
Sorry about that.
We,
You know what? That's
Which
probably
is-
why
we
Like,
take
why is he all
turns.
over there by himself?
One of the
you
hardest
knew.
I can deal with it.
You knew.
out there.
You know who she is, right?
Yeah, we go about
Linda Carter,
month.
her woman's sister.
No.
And I
Not- Seriously?
take it.
You know Linda Carter, who was one woman?
Work
It's, that's her sister.
Wow. Take it.
And her sister, Democrat, a real sister, like biological
Trained.
sister, and
I worked there for
endorsed her opponent.
It's fun to
Carter
be chairman.
first.
That's cool.
Yeah.
My brother's in the San Diego area, so I've been very familiar with Southern California. More recently, I've started.
Well, I don't know if we're supposed to have some sort of a formal
We'll talk more.
way to do this. This is just a roundtable discussion, and we've already had quite a bit of discussion with Mr. Marshall. Mr. Black, of course, not here. I know I've presented my case, and Woody has done quite a bit himself, but I do know that Supervisor has some things he wanted to talk about. I don't know if that's the way we want to proceed or not, but if you'd like to say a few things there.
Yeah, that's fine. If anybody doesn't have a little deal, if they want one, they're more than welcome to do it. What it is I just kind of condensed,
I'll get one for us.
some information. Oh, you gave them back to me?
I'll take
did
one.
you?
No,
Oh,
bag
okay.
of.
Okay.
Thank you.
But anyway, blight is one of the things I ran on, and that's garbage properties, and we've got a lot of them around. And so I've been fighting it for 8 years, and when I first got here and elected supervisor, the code enforcement and the hearing officer were both paid county employees, so therefore there wasn't much teeth in it. You couldn't find somebody and turn them into a collection agency because the hearing officer was also a paid county employee. And so we got in, and thanks for the help with staff, we changed that ordinance so that now if you have a blighted property and you're written a citation, then it goes to the hearing officer, and the hearing officer can implement a fine on you, and then we can turn you into collection. So that worked pretty well. Not only did we do it for blight, we did it for animal control, building without a permit, those kind of things. And so now, you know, our engineers and stuff are gonna use it, like the grading, the grading permit. So it was a great place to start. But as far as blighted properties, then we ran into some issues where there's people that pass away and there's no probate. And so someone, either a family trust, a nephew, a grandson, whomever, is paying the taxes on these properties so that it doesn't go into a tax foreclosure sale. And sometimes, most of the time, these people live out of state, out of country, and they don't take care of the property. But it was mom and pops, they don't want to sell it, they can't figure out what to do with it, so it's sitting there turning to rot. We show up with our code enforcement, we have no one to write a citation to because whomever's paying the property taxes is not the owner of the property. So therefore, we can't do anything with that. Okay, that's one issue that we have run into time and time again. And so can we push probate? Well, we haven't been able to yet. And so then another situation that we have run into, and there's numbers here that I have got from county staff and the treasurers. And then too, another issue is investors. They're buying these tax liens. They can pay the taxes on this property for 3 years. Then they can foreclose on the property and then own the property. Well, they're not. And so what they're doing is then they can pay a portion of the taxes and then they can keep it tied up for 10 years. So this property is now sitting there in ruin for like 13 years. And after that 10 years, it starts over again. And so some of these people, if you look at these pictures, these are some of the places that are in that situation. And would you like to live next to this property and call me and I'm saying, I can't help you? And so that's where I'm at, and that's why I'm doing this presentation today. It's because I own a property that my 89-year-old mother lives in. She's planted a hedge because one of her neighbors is in this picture, and I'm not going to tell you which one. And her son's a supervisor, and when I go see her, I got to tell her, Mom, I love you, but I can't fix this. I have not been able to. So, anybody that can help with this, I don't hope you live there. I hope your mother does. And so anyway, and then if you look like on the second page, it said blighted property information for Gila County, from Gila County Treasurer. We have 26 liens pending foreclosure process. In other words, they're ready to, they can foreclose on the property and own it, but they're not. 6 liens, 6 of these properties have been in that situation that I was telling you about. 6 liens to expire after 10 years. So 6 of these properties, the investor has, the first ones are investor properties. So the 6 liens to expire after 10 years. So these properties are just in limbo for 10 years because of an investor. 3 lien investors will not endorse, which will expire after 10 years. So then there's 3 more liens that won't expire. Now we get into the people that have passed away. We have 9 properties with deceased owners on record and no relatives to contact, which your family has abandoned or are refused to pay property taxes, or maintenance. And 19 properties, with deceased owners, which we are working with. And so that means that these people, we're asking them politely to clean up the property because we can't write them a citation. We can't do anything other than ask them, will you please take care of this property? And last year, not this last one, but the year before, at the CSA conference for legislation, what I asked is can we have the treasurers, people that are paying the taxes on some of these properties, can we have the treasurer keep track of who's paying who taxes on these deceased properties? And all the counties said, sure, we can have our treasurer do that. But I retracted it because if we know that information, we have nothing to do with it. So, I mean, to me, it's easy because I own several properties. I pay the taxes on them, so I'm liable for them. So, I mean, it would be easy to maybe pass a bill that if you're paying taxes on a property in the state of Arizona, you're liable for it. Why are we more lenient with investors than we are property owners? I mean, it's silly. And if someone is paying taxes, if I'm paying taxes on my grandmother's home, well, that's sweet of me, but by golly, I should be liable for that property. And so, in a nutshell, 8 years of me trying to, and staff, God loves staff because, like I say, we've been able to change ordinances, which takes an awful lot of doing anyway, to work through the attorney and staff and what we need to do and get the verbiage right and everything. So that was really tough. So I still can't clean up a lot of these properties because of those two situations. And so that's kind of my nutshell. Deputy County Manager Michael O'Driscoll, he has worked with me because he's been with the health department and moved up. So for 8 years, he's worked with me a lot on trying to work with these. So he can kind of maybe fill in on some of the things that we have tried that don't work, or some of the things that we're threatening with now that if it ever ended up in court, it has no teeth. So, Michael, if you'd like to help me for a minute.
Oh, you betcha, Supervisor. Thank you. So as Supervisor Humphrey said, he's been working with staff for the last 8 years to try and get these properties cleaned up. And through the health department, we're able to utilize, one of the tools we've been utilizing is called Title 36. So the health departments are delegated from the state, Title 36, which specifies that a health department director can designate a property a public health nuisance. And once that has been designated, then the county is allowed to go take care of that public health nuisance. So we've sort of implemented a process with the health department, where the health department director will go to the properties, and if it really is a mess, and some of these properties really do harbor insects, rats, rodents, those kinds of things, as well as we've had some of these properties that have open cesspools that, actually in one particular case, there was a couple animals, a couple local dogs that got trapped in the cesspool. So, we have these public health nuisances. We declare it a public health nuisance, and then the county, Mr. Menlo, has given the health department a line in the budget that we hire a local contractor to go and clean up these properties. The issue with that is because there is no owner, or even if there is an investor, they're really not held responsible legally for that property. They don't own it, they're just paying a tax lien on it. We pay to get it cleaned up, and we really have no way of reclaiming those costs. But Supervisor Humphrey and County Manager James Menlove has recognized that some of these properties are really a public health hazard, where people can get extremely injured or can pass on some diseases. So they've made a commitment to go ahead and clean up some of these properties. but we don't have any legal process to reclaim any of those costs. So we're sort of doing it to protect the public, and that's where we're at with the Title 36.
Yeah, and I'd like to say, I thank Greg very much because they did a roundtable with us. And we had other supervisors at the roundtable. And from what I gathered, it's all the supervisors or all the counties have some kind of property issue. Maybe we're not all cookie cutter issues. And some in the larger counties, you don't see properties like that because people are forceful on taking over the property to reinvest in stuff. You don't have that big of a push and rule. And I thank Manager Minlove because he has put some more money in the budget for us to go clean these places up. But by it coming out of our budget, it's our taxpayers paying to clean up these investors' properties and these people that are not responsible for their properties. And like everything, I would like to make the people who are creating the problem responsible for the properties instead of every year have to go back and ask our county manager, can we put a little more money in the budget because we've got 9 more places this year than we had last. And so, and like I say, at the county level, I feel as if we have exhausted any laws that we could put in gear to fix some of this. And so that's why I'm asking some help maybe from the legislature and maybe not, make whoever's paying the taxes liable, which I think that'd be an easy fix. But I don't, that might not cover the whole spectrum. But I would appreciate if the state would kind of look at it because we do have those problems in rural Arizona, and I think we have it in the bigger places as well. It's just not complained about because one of the supervisors that was on the roundtable said that they just go clean them up and take the landfill fund to pay for it. Well, Gila County's landfill, we have 2 of them, and they would cut my arm off if I asked them for money because they have to close that landfill at some point in time. And so that's why they charge. They need that money. And so then I would go to the constituents and say, okay, we're going to raise the dump fees another $10 per load to pay for blighted properties. Well, that's not their responsibility. So anyway, I'm finished. Thank you very much for coming today and for listening. And Greg, thanks for your help with the roundtable. And I appreciate you continuing to help with that and see what we can do. And James, thanks for the money. And Michael, thank you for the health department and all the work that you've done. That's it. Just an awareness.
Oh, no, no. I'll leave contact. Our attorneys on the second floor.
Yeah, and, I've talked to another representative at one point in time, and they said, well, what if it's an investor? And I said, it is an investor. Well, we don't want to upset them. Like, well, okay.
Rep said that?
No, he's no longer a representative.
Oh, okay. Never mind. Okay.
Yeah.
But anyway.
And Representative Marshall, I'll follow up with you too, because I was on that call as well, that Craig and Caitlin set up, and this is something that every county deals with. They deal with it in different kind of variations of it, but it's something that is an issue with every county. So there's no clear-cut solution to it yet. Otherwise, everybody probably would have marched down there and tried to do it, but I think we're still trying to figure out what that could be. Very helpful as well.
I think that rural Arizona is impacted more.
Right, but even the large ones have developments and stuff that they're trying to figure out. And I think a lot of it is old property laws that maybe we need to relook at some property laws in the state of Arizona because they were written years and years and years and years ago. And maybe they need a facelift to better support landowners.
Yeah, we definitely look at that.
Well,
But I don't know why why we can't hold the person that is holding the tax bill liable for it.
That's where I'm at. If you're an investor, you should be liable for the property that you're investing in. And like I say, if you're paying your grandma's property taxes because she passed away 9 years ago, but you live in California and the property's just going to heck, you ought to be liable for that property. Or have to move next door.
Move your mother next door.
Yeah, move your mother next door.
Or move that house to California.
Yeah, at your expense. But anyway, thank you very much for being here today and for listening to our issues.
Yeah.
Like Todd said, we'll get
Yeah.
together on that.
We'll start talking about it with staff too. Sometimes staff is helpful to tease out ideas and figure it out and do some of the historical background for us on that. Thank you for coming today too. Thank you for coming to the board meeting and speaking. It's always I know we were joking about it, but we do appreciate it. I know it is a lot of your time. The election is over. I'm sure you're glad and very thankful that
And just started.
Exactly. Start running again. But you did have leadership elections and you do have committee assignments. You are a committee chair. We know that you have a lot going on, so thank you for taking the time. It is helpful because this is streamed, online, so folks can watch it. So thank you for coming. We know Representative Blackman, unfortunately, sick today, couldn't make it. And, thanks for being here. I thought what we could do today, I know you've heard some of the issues that our supervisors care about, but from a funding standpoint in the state, we know we're not flush with cash, right? There's not billions of dollars that are floating around and throwing it out there. So the resources are very limited. But one thing we thought maybe we could do today is that not only talk about what you already heard, some of the importance of some of the things that are important to Gila County and the other counties. Those are issues, we're going to be in your office talking about because they're important to Gila County, just like other counties. But even specifically within Gila County, some of the issues that maybe James can talk to or the other supervisors, potential funding priorities, whether they're one-time funding or ongoing or something that could help Gila County specifically. So maybe with that, James, do you want to talk through some of the ideas or any of the other supervisors?
Did the other supervisors have an opportunity to present or have a discussion of their specific issues? Or?
Yeah, we can do it that way too.
Maybe do that first and then
Okay.
jump into maybe specific.
Perfect. You want to?
Supervisor Klein, I know you've, in the meeting, but
No, follow up.
no, I don't really have anything extra than what I've already said. So, HERF money, insurance, DIFM, the probation people.
I'd like to bring up rural fire departments. I mean, in a lot of our meetings, we're coming up with constituent funds to help our rural fire departments because the tax is set to a deal that they get whatever the property tax value is. In rural Arizona, we don't have the population of private property. We live on 3.5% of our tax base. And so a lot of the bigger counties, they reach their limit of $400,000 or whatever it is real easy. But in rural Arizona, they don't get anywhere close to reaching their $400,000. And Supervisor Klein, Christensen, and I, we're all the time doing constituent funds to help them with radios, to help them with tires for the trucks, to help them with a lot of things that rural fire departments just don't have the funding for.
Well, one of the things that makes it difficult for me, if I don't know, I can't help.
Mm-hmm.
And so just a year and a half ago, Vernon Fire Department, which is not even in my district, was getting ready to lay off, it was in June, 3 firefighters because they had no, Apache County has an assessing problem, their property. They haven't assessed their property in 40 years. So if you own $1 million home on your property, an acre or two in Vernon, you're still paying $126 a year for property tax. So they had no money. So the chief came to me. We went to lunch, told me his problems. I didn't know what I can do for him because he wasn't in my district, so I had to call the
Right.
speaker.
Right.
How do I do this? This fire department needs help. Can I help them? He says, well, yeah, you're a legislator for the state of Arizona, not just your district. So I did. I went over there and I was able to appropriate at $1.5 million for them. And they're taken care of now for the next 3 years. He says, they're good for 3 years. We've never had this kind of money. But they came and asked. But the point I'm making is if I don't know, I can't ask. And I can't put out a wish list. I call it my list a wish list. So what I tell counties to do, say for instance, Gila County, you got to issue a rural fire department, put down your top 5 things that's most important for you for your fire department. And I'm going to shoot to get all 5, but you might get the first 2. So you make sure your priority, your number 1 is the most important. I just got a list from Snowflake and Taylor, but they gave me a 2-page list. And I'm going, so I sent it back to them. I said, this ain't happening. Right. Governor's not giving you $20 million for just one department. And I want to make sure that I hit all the rural departments in my district, not just one. So if you can give me something in writing that I have, because what I do is David, what's his name, Livingston is the approach chair again, along with Matt Gress. And so what I do is I sit down with them and negotiate with them on this is a must, this is what I need. We did the same thing for law enforcement. I was able to appropriate $40 million for brand new radios for DPS that they've been out of for over 20 years. They've had the same radios for 20 years. And they're a piece of junk. Because if you drive up to Payson or you go my way to Snowflake, they had no reception. The officers had to pull over and try to use a cell phone to call for help. So we were able to, I was able to acquire $44.5 million appropriations to get them brand new radio systems statewide, and also system that would work on the Navajo reservation as well. Why? It's because he came to me and asked. And I do anything for law enforcement and fire. That's my background. And that's what I'm the chairman of now. So I'll go to bat for law enforcement all day long.
What was that thing about a year ago where it was going through the legislature? Was it an increase in sales tax, but it was supposed to fund rural fire departments? And it would have been a small amount of money, but it would like double their budgets because they have a limit on the levy that they can do. And they're all like maxed out on their levy and they still don't have money. Do you remember what that was? Was that a sales tax thing or was that a?
It was a sales tax thing. That bill had been proposed several sessions and killed every session.
Right.
And the reason it's been killed is because the constituents are crying, why are we increasing our taxes? And nobody wants a tax increase.
Right.
So we get hammered on that all the time. Hey guys, it's only going to be for 10 years. Well, some of those taxes that are 10 years old are now 30 years old and they're still being taxed. So that's been the argument because there's no clause in there to kill it at 10 years. And so, and the argument is that it's just going to continue forever.
Yeah. I understand.
Yeah.
Craig, let me ask you, where are we at with the state's water issues?
How did I draw that card?
Thank you.
You're the one guy in Arizona that knows.
Thank you, Woody.
Oh my gosh. Unusual punishment. No, I appreciate that. I have to admit that I'm a little bit disconnected from what the latest negotiations are, as folks have been working behind the scenes to try to figure out how to come out of this campaign and advance anything. There's no doubt that there's still very much a desire among the governor's office, interests that have been aligned with her on a rural regulatory tool that's flexible for what the local needs are. And of course, there are others that are very concerned about that, and they've put on a separate rural regulatory tool that Representative Griffin has really kind of been the leader on. What occurred in the last few months, which was interesting, was the application of an active management area structure in the Wilcox area. So that has a lot of people saying, well, is the AMA the right tool in these places, the existing, item that we already have? And so I'm very interested to see how folks view bringing on new tools when they're seeing the deployment of the existing active management area structure in Wilcox and in Gila Bend. These are areas we had not seen it in before. So that's kind of what I know at the moment. I do know that Representative Griffin is continuing to have conversations about what she'd like things to look like. She will be chairing the committee that will control any water legislation going forward in the House. And in the Senate, TJ Shope is going to be the chairman of the committee that controls water over there. And that's very interesting because, as you know, Pinal County has its own set of issues that are very different than a lot of the outlying rural areas. So that's the context. I'm not entirely sure what will be all put on the table. I will share one last point, Supervisor. When TJ Shope was extended the committee, he talked about water as an affordable housing issue, which really goes to Pinal County and the issues with getting a assured water supply certificate and things like that. So it'll be quite active. Representative Dunn from Yuma got on the committee. He's in the Senate now. So there'll most definitely be a lot of talk, but I'm not sure how it'll land.
You know, I'm a little curious, and there's a lot of concern in the rural parts that we don't want to send our water to Phoenix. And so a lot of people really have the idea that we need our own say-so in this. But, you know, we're looking at a possibility of 3,000 acres being approved for the Tono Apaches for an increase in their reservation. And, you know, Payson, doesn't matter what they say, because we hear it all the time, but there's still concerns on water around Payson. And, you know, when you're looking at that kind of potential growth, that just, you know, makes me wonder where this is all going to come from. And not only that, and I don't know if either one of you know this, but there was, I think it's still in the works, the Yavapachees are proposing to put another straw in the C.C. Cragen Reservoir and pull water out of that for the Yavapache tribe as well. And it's in conjunction with SRP, so I really don't know what the backdoor deal is on that. But that is a concern of mine for our northern part of this county. You know, C.C. Cragen isn't that big, and there's only so much it'll support. So that's why I wanted to bring this up and ask you what the latest is on it.
Yeah, and I appreciate you mentioning the issue with C.C. Cragen. I was not aware of it.
And I don't know where it is in the process, if there's still it's still trying to go through, or if it's dead in the waters now. I don't really know. It's been about a month or so ago that I was contacted.
We'll see what we can.
But water for us is a huge issue.
You know, we, you know, Apache County, some years back, sold out a lot of our water to Phoenix. They put a ton of wells in, a ton of them, and they're still pumping millions and millions of gallons a day, and it's going down through Roosevelt, coming down into Tempe, and many homes had to, people lost their homes because their wells went dry. But the company offered to come out and dig deeper wells and stuff, and they still weren't hitting water. So a lot of people lost their homes out there. Actually, SRP paid to bottom out, and they moved away. And we're not happy about it because we had a contract. Navajo County had a contract with Apache County that we wouldn't sell our water to Phoenix. Well, Apache's, we've been told, is the poorest county in the state. And so they're hurting for money, and so they sold it. And again, you drive down through Concho and St. John's, you see wells everywhere. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, so do you, Craig, do you think that the governor is gonna just push her own, water through, or?
Great question. Not entirely sure. I know that you know, several supervisors who have been interested in that approach have continued to have those conversations, but I am a little bit interested in how the new AMA deployments affect that conversation, and whether it changes the appetite from some folks to create a new tool, because they're using the one one on the table. I do anticipate that in her state of the state, there will be a water message. It's just too important. And I know that some of your colleagues most definitely want a new tool, and she has been advocating for it, you know. So we'll monitor it, and I'll definitely report back out to you if I can detect what's coming our way.
Thank you.
Yeah, you got it.
Mr. Chairman, could I wanted to say thank you to all that you've done in the legislature the last 2 years. When you had money, you used it to invest in infrastructure. Supervisor Humphrey has it right in saying that we have to have infrastructure as the foundation for anything that we do, particularly in government. Some of the things in particular is the investment in roads that you drive around the state. Some of these roads, it was just stuff of tar that was connecting the potholes. One of the things, the 260 across the northern part of the county and through the Salt River Canyon, 2 big projects that affected Gila County and the ability of horrible roads. State legislature appropriated dollars to help out with that. So thank you. It has made a significant difference in our roads. It's been touched on about our HERF dollars. That is a touchy subject. I know of a sentiment of not increasing taxes. Understandable. So using the resources to affect that has been appreciated. One of the other things for infrastructure that we have here in Gila County in this area is the Tri-City Regional Sanitary District. That is separate. It's a separate entity. It's a separate governmental entity. So it's not Gila County, but it impacts this region right here significantly. They're looking to connect wastewater lines to all the homes here between Miami and Globe. And those homes are, and I think Supervisor Humphrey corrected me, but a lot of these properties that Supervisor Humphrey has referred to are in that area because they are on cesspools. Cesspools have been outlawed since 1989 or 1976, even further back than 89. So 76, they've been outlawed in the state of Arizona and kind of have to look the other way because people would just have to move out. And this is a tremendous opportunity to connect homes to a viable wastewater system. One of the challenges that we have, or that they have, is originally is planned for, very poor section of town, and they organized this special district, improvement district, and at a cost of $70 million to connect those homes. And that's a huge financial liability. They worked with the U.S. Department of Agriculture, USDA, to get grants and loans and all of this. But that $70 million has grown to
120.
How many?
120.
120. And they're working like crazy to. Sorry, if you want to talk to that.
No, that's fine. Go ahead.
That's not in the realm of the state budget and stuff, but I think it's worthy of having you be aware of what is going on here, what is impacting this community, part of District 7, to know that these citizens are really suffering because of that, and there's health issues with cesspools that Michael had referred to and those kinds of things.
Yeah, because infrastructure is extremely important, because if some of these places had sewer, I'm sure that some of them might not be in the condition, because somebody would offer them a price for that property that they couldn't say no to. And so we need infrastructure, and I'm sure you've been between Globe and Miami a million times, but off the road you see a whole different area. But infrastructure is important too, because like I say, we live on 3.5% of our tax base, but I'll bet 65% of the wages written in Gila County are cashed in Maricopa or Pinal County because people commute. I mean, they're doing road construction, and even we're nice enough to not close it until 9 and then open it again at 2 for the hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of people that work for the mines, for Gila County, for City of Globe. And they're spending their money down there. So, the infrastructure is extremely important for us to keep going.
Well, I remember the sanitation, they had a meeting here
Yeah.
a couple of months
And you were invited by Fred Barcone, and it kind of went south because they were fighting.
Yeah.
And that wasn't even the proper place or channel to do that, but they were both.
They were literally fighting.
Yeah. Yes.
And I'm just like,
Yes.
where did I come to?
Yeah. Right. Rural Arizona.
But the argument was, is it's gonna cost us money.
Yeah, but it's not.
That was their argument. We
And-
don't want it because it's gonna cost us money.
And it's not, because that 70 million has already got the price tag on it. It's gonna cost, what, it's gonna, I think the payback is like 30 million over 40 years. It's already set. They have that money. They're just not, they just don't have the 50 million to complete the complete project at this point. But, I mean, I'm hopeful, you know, build it, they'll come. They now have a place for their base, and so they're supposed to break ground on the first phase. So once they start, I could see perhaps with some push from the state, the federal government, giving that. Because if they're gonna outlaw cesspools, help us get rid of them, you know? And so that's kind of that deal. I'm hopeful that it continues, but I would, you know, any support that Tri-City could get from the state would be beneficial, even if it's letters for grant funding.
And
from
again, too, it goes back to the priorities.
Yeah.
What is the most important projects for you right now? Right. And that's what I need to know, because that's what I'll go to bat for. Like I said, I'm going to tell you right now, they're not going to take like Gila and give them 20 pet projects.
Right.
They have
Right.
Pinal, and
Right.
they have,
Right.
you know, but
Right.
give me your top 5 pet projects that you want done, and make your number one is the most important one. Because then I'll go to bat. I'll go to fight it. Like David Livingston, who's the chairman, he and I are great relationship. I've gotten most of everything I've asked for when I deal with him, and so if that's a project in the fire department or a road or something, put all 5 of them on there, but put the most important in the first 2. Because I'm still meeting with other counties, and I'll be meeting with their board of supervisors. They're going to have to do the same thing.
You have 3 districts, and we all probably have different priorities.
I have 4 districts.
Yeah, I understand. I understand. No, but I mean, in the room, and we've all got major priorities.
Yeah.
Two of mine is definitely Tri-City. That's funding.
Okay.
But blight, that's not funding. That's just help.
That's the legislation.
Help me figure out how we can work together to not let investors get away with things or a property go unowned.
No.
You have to force the innovators.
And that's
Those are my.
again, that's not in your 5. I'm talking about appropriations.
Oh, okay.
Funding only.
Well, mine is Tri-City to help them in any way you can. Or I guess rural
fire
would hit all of us, would be rural fire. Help rural fire departments get more money, but that's just mine.
Prudent to ask staff to just compile a priorities list.
Well, I've got lists here. $100 million at the blink of an eye. And it's not necessarily that we're asking for money for some of these projects. Tri-City, they're working on it, but just to be aware of what it is, and if something comes up, as Supervisor Humphrey stated, letters of support or something to the federal government of getting funding may be asked for. Just so you're aware of the big issues that we have in Southern Gila County or throughout Gila County.
No, and again, Eli, Crane, Biggs, and Gosar, I work with all 3 of them. Although Gosar and Biggs aren't in our district, they still help.
Yeah. Wanted to express appreciation for the funding for the Veterans Retreat. That was a big reach for you, and you had to go out on a limb to ask for that. We are in the process. It sometimes takes a long time, particularly rural, to make arrangements for all the infrastructure and all the things to build facilities. But we're looking at a centralized recreation center, that multi-purpose building, to use that $3 million of place of gathering for veterans, that they can come and be able to have activities and do things that benefit and bless the lives of our veterans. So thank you so much for that appropriation. That was a wonderful project. Still a wonderful project.
I just got a bunch of brochures from Kathy because there's a new Veterans Critical Care Unit up in Flagstaff that I dedicated a couple weeks ago on, well, Veterans Day. And it's a beautiful facility, but there's veterans that they can't take there because they have a memory care unit, an amputee care unit, and all this. But if there's a veteran that's passing through, need a place to lay down or needs to get away, they had nowhere to go. So I told them about the project, and he says, bring us a bunch of flyers, and we'll put it on our website as well. So I'm gonna be delivering this up to the other veteran center up in Flagstaff.
Fabulous.
Thank you.
You're not done yet?
I've just started.
I need an Uber home.
I'll drive you home.
Okay.
I'll have you here for another 3.5 hours. 2.5 hours.
No, I'm sorry.
I do ask, know that the state has limited resources. There might be minimal dollars. So could you give us some guidelines? Because I've got, like the 512 road has long been a priority for Gila County. That's to pave the road from 260 down to Young. It's 13 miles that are not paved, but it's approximately $17 million cost. We're not going to go to the state and say we need 17 million because that's going to be thrown out.
No, what happened with 260, when I took care of 260 and all that, what I did, I put in $4 million. They put in the rest.
Yeah.
So even with the 17 miles you said?
13 miles, 17 million.
17 million. If I was even, I can probably appropriate 5 million for that. They will put in the rest.
Okay.
So just put that on your wish list.
Okay, that's great to know. Do you have any other guidelines as we develop our list and want to bring it to you? Because I've got projects here from 250,000, 500,000, you say 5 maximum, prioritize 1 through 5. Would you have a recommendation of knowing, or not necessarily knowing, but anticipating where the state budget's going to be at?
Not yet. We will know next month.
Would you recommend in our ask or our list of requesting appropriations to wait and find out what there might be, or just go ahead and?
No, no.
Todd's shaking his head no.
I'd say
No. Put it in.
No.
Put it in. And again, when you're talking 200, 300, 400, those are easy ones.
Right,
Those are easy ones.
right,
Most of the people that come to my office, they want millions.
right.
20, 30, 40 millions. Those are battles and stuff. That's why I said, give me the most important ones, and I will go to battle for those. The 200, 300,000, I can probably almost 99% of the time get those, no problem.
The funding level is a consideration of, they're all priorities. We could prioritize whichever, roads. Another one here is the Russell Gulch Road. We just talked about today that through Department of Forestry and Fire Management. How fabulous is that? And a request would be to continue funding that. In addition to the probation, and let's keep our share of that, and those different things that are our state responsibilities. But we've gotten that. We did recently get a $1 million grant from SMART Fund. Thank you for funding that. That is just tremendous incentive to go and get. We had a washout from the fire, and it's only 1.5 miles, but it's like $17 million to rehabilitate that road because of the damage that was done by those flooding waters. So just tremendous things that have helped us out. And we appreciate that.
And with these roads too, we have a new ADOT liaison. I haven't met her yet.
Amy.
And yeah, I haven't met her yet. I'm kind of sad because I had a really good relationship with the other gentleman. But with the ADOT, Apache Trail that was shut down because of the rock slide and all that, it took us 4 years to negotiate with them.
Right.
We haven't put any money into it, but it got to the point where they got tired of hearing from us, and they got the road open. So it's a Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And you drive at your own risk, but it's a good Band-Aid.
Yeah.
And so we're still working with them. They still want $30 million to finish it and do it right. It's fine with me right now. It's pretty safe.
Yeah.
And they've done an excellent job. So then we just move on to the next project.
Yeah.
So there's ways to work with ADOT. ADOT will move money around sometimes for us. Well, this project's 5 years out, so we don't have to worry about, because a lot of their projects earmarked 5 years out.
Right.
And they said, well, you know what, we can wait on this one because it's 5 years out. Let's shift this money over here and do this road now.
Yeah.
So there's a lot of ways that we can work around some of that money issue.
Another one of the 5-year projects through ADOT, another big one that's coming is Lion Springs, which I'm sure will impact you and your travels from Snowflake to Phoenix. That they've been on design, that's done. This has been on property rights or right of way acquisition and that. Hopefully within the next year, 2 years, that they will start construction on widening the Lion Springs section of the highway of 260 between Star Valley and where it widens out there. So that is going to be tremendous. Of course, Payson on traffic comes there and it gets extremely busy.
Oh yeah, I hate that intersection.
But
I hate it.
But huge to get that 4 miles of section widened.
I'm gonna be flying a lot more. They have a new jet out in Sholo now.
There you go.
It's a 26-minute flight.
Wow.
So $49 one way. I'm gonna be flying quite a bit.
Wow, $49. I used to fly out of there and it made a big difference.
It's a 34 seat, all first class seating jet.
Nice.
And it was 18 minutes. The first couple flights, FAA told them they couldn't fly that fast at that distance.
Wow.
So it's 26 minutes now.
Does it come with a parachute?
Going that fast, you don't need a parachute. Boom.
I'll stop there, but most of all, express appreciation. There are issues, we'll identify those and bring them to you. Might be a couple weeks so we can get the board together, have a discussion.
And you have time. You have time. Like I said, we don't get sworn in until the 13th. We're doing bills right now, and I'm not going to do a lot of bills. I don't know why we do a lot of bills down there. 1,700 bills, and you only actually hit 400. Hit the floor. Ridiculous.
Yeah.
You know, we need to start repealing some of the bills that we have. But yeah, give me your information, and Todd and I will work on this. We're going to work on probation. Fire, if you got the fire issues and all that.
Yeah, we all got fire issues.
Yeah.
Rural. Roosevelt, 13 miles long. Phoenix, you can't get on the lake on a weekend. We got a rural fire department that's working shorthanded because they can't afford staff. They've got a department on the tunnel, on the salt end of Roosevelt Lake that they can't even man because they don't have enough money to have even a part-time person there. And on a weekend, that place grows 900%, and they don't have the staff.
Well, just to let you know, I do an auction business. I've been doing it for years. Sanders and some other fire departments down there, the rural, their equipment is like in the 70s and 80s.
Right.
And it's out of the district. I can't talk with Peshla Kai and who's the other one over there?
Is that Soci up there?
Soci. They don't do anything for them on the side of the reservation.
Right.
So I try to do it. So what I offered them was, I gave them my information to go on my site to look at all the, because I deal with fire trucks too, fire equipment, police equipment. And I says, whatever you find, let me know, and I will get you the best deal on the fire trucks and on all the equipment you need. So, and some of them, they've bought some equipment. I don't make no money off of it, because if I can't get through the state, I try to help them a different way. You know, if they want to just buy it straight off the line themselves, they can do it that way too. But this is equipment like in the 2000s,
Sure.
You know, 2010 and all that, fire trucks, tenders, and all those things.
Yeah, well, like I say, we're constantly giving them money for equipment, for radios, tires for their trucks. I mean, it's always something.
Well, I can talk with Motorola too and see about doing a deal for radios for you, and we fund it if I can get a great deal for it. But I just need to know what type of radios you need and stuff, what kind of system that you're running. Or just have Motorola come down here and visit you guys and then find out.
Well, we can sure get the department chiefs in touch with you so you have.
Yeah, have them do that.
I think we bought enough radios, probably fill.
Yeah, we're pretty good on radios. But you know, like Pine Strawberry, $30,000 for some radios.
Yeah.
Hell's Gate, what's that? No, it's Water Wheel.
Water wheel.
What do we spend there? $10,000-$12,000 for radios. And this is all outdated equipment. They can't even afford to buy a new fire hose. All their stuff's worn out, so we have to give them money for that. And
How's their reception over there?
Well, certain areas not good, and that's why they need to upgrade to this better radios.
Yeah.
And then someone says, well, let's put a tower in, and then the whole village comes out with pitchforks about putting up a tower.
Let me find out where the closest tower, because they're out of that 44 million that we appropriated for DPS, going up to 260 and on, all the way over to Sanders area and all that. They're putting up 5G towers on 260. So I don't know if that's going to reach that area, but I can find out the closest one and see if there's going to be some reception for your area.
There is, and then we're caught in a pickle. So the public safety says, we really need this so that we can communicate. And then all the people of the village, they don't want it and they want to string us up. So it puts us in a pickle as far as, do we listen to the constituents or do we do what's the safest thing? Because, they literally think that their brains are going to blow up with a new tower.
Tell them to wear aluminum hats. Put aluminum foil on and be happy. Oh, that's right, we're live streaming, aren't we? My name is Todd Bowman.
Oh.
Nice.
Call me at. That's awesome.
I deserve that.
No, but seriously, I'll find out where the closest tower is going up over there. Because right now, they're already working on them, the radio systems up there. And hopefully, maybe it's close enough where you don't even have to worry about the constituents worrying about it. They won't even notice that it's even there.
It is getting better, but we do have canyons and different things up along the rim that are just dead zones.
Oh, Verizon's gotten horrible.
Yeah.
It got real bad.
So, and then the dirt roads. So we talk about the Young Road. There's also the Control Road, if you're familiar with that. It connects 260 to Highway 87 along the rim. There's hundreds of people that live along that road, and the fire trucks there can only go like 10 miles an hour without them just breaking down, because of the roughness of the road. So it's the goal is to get all of this. And I think we've identified the Young Road from 260 as the priority, but the Control Road, which is more, would be on the same par of priority.
I think the one from 260 down is priority. I drive that road. I hate it. It shakes everything.
Yeah.
It's a bad road. And especially for emergency vehicles that are trying to respond somewhere, you can't even control your vehicle at some place on that because it's that bad. Yeah, it needs to be dealt with.
Yep.
Not because I'm selfish.
No, of course.
I want a smooth road.
Not that you own a jet.
Can I make one, I said I was done, but one comment, housing, huge issue throughout the state, throughout the country. We recently got a grant to do a housing analysis for, that'll be a help, something on West. And particularly down here in Gulf, you can't find a house. The hospital tries to bring in doctors, nurses and stuff. And they come and will come to the area and say, no, I can't find a house. And so it's a really difficult challenge, but it's the same throughout the entire state.
And we're having the same thing in Navajo County.
Yeah.
But they're building these 1,200 square foot homes for $500,000.
Yeah.
So they're sitting empty because nobody's paying that for a 1,200 square foot home.
So another big issue on our minds, housing.
You know what Todd was telling me earlier? He lives in Phoenix. What is it? Which?
North Phoenix.
North Phoenix.
Otherwise,
He's got a Gila County Sheriff's deputy that lives near him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
North Phoenix.
Yeah, Gila County Sheriff SUV driving by my house all the time. I'm like, what's going on here?
That was the only way we could keep deputies.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That is to let them commute. Guess where he cashes his paycheck?
Yeah.
Guess where he buys his groceries?
Mm-hmm.
So, you're welcome.
Well, if you guys can get that information to me,
We will.
and other things that we talked about this morning,
The other thing.
yeah, HERF and
Oh, yeah. HERF, the insurance.
yeah,
Yeah, all those are concerns, yeah.
Yeah, get all that to me.
The probation, yeah, just meet your obligations, have some certainty going forward.
And I'll get with Walt and we'll try to strategize and keep meeting with you and see which way we want to go. We'll be working on,
We'll talk.
yeah, talking and on probation.
And I'll tell you if I may on the probation piece, it's, many legislators, particularly rural legislators, are able to say, hey, this really is a state item. It shouldn't be your individual ask, team ask of folks, because it really is a state obligation. So anything we can do and we are making our rounds with all your colleagues to try to support all of you in communicating that. I don't know if there's a rural caucus meeting coming up shortly, but it might be something. We'll take it to Mr. Dunn. But we just want you to know that we want to get a lot of your colleagues together.
I always do.
Oh, that's
always do.
We want to give you a lot of support.
Yeah.
So thanks for considering it.
Michael, did you have anything you'd like to add? You've been soaking it all in there.
No, not at this particular time, Supervisor, but thank you very much.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, good. Right.
I thank you very much.
Yep.
For being here today.
That's good. It was informative too.
I do public meetings in my rural areas, and it's amazing the things you find out that you never knew. And so I appreciate you being here and having the interest that you have today and wanting us to work on that. That's a breath of fresh air for the 8 years I've been a supervisor.
Well, come visit me in the Capitol. Come on up to the bright side of the town.
You got way too many cars.
Tell me about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't go home on Fridays from there because I can't get through Payson.
Yeah.
Right.
I feel ya.
You get stopped about halfway there doing 5 miles an hour.
I turn around and go right back.
Yeah.
I have.
I don't blame you.
But that's why I said that jet's handy now.
Oh, yeah.
$49 one way. I'll park my car and fly.
How sweet is that? Yeah. No, but thank you.
Uber over?
No, I park my car at the airport.
No, but I mean, how do you get to the Capitol once you get down to Phoenix?
Oh, I just grab my car from the Capitol. I mean,
Oh,
from
you
the
leave it
airport.
there at the,
Yeah,
there.
and
Oh,
drive right
okay.
over. Yeah. I leave a suit in the car.
Yep.
Yep. Change there. Because it lands at 8:15 in the morning.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Perfect.
So perfect time.
As long as it's on time, yeah.
Yeah. It's only been late once.
Really?
Yeah. Once so far.
$49.
I'd like to get
Think again.
supervisors before.
Sure. I believe it's only 25 minutes to do.
Melissa?
We're all
Yes.
set.
Oh.
Thanks for everybody.
We'll
Thanks
get a
for.
picture
Thank you.
with you and the
Yeah.
supervisors, if you don't mind. I don't know where we'll do it. Right here.
Been a good day.
We'll work on this. Get some
No,
legislation.
probably looking
Lindley.
kind of something.
Oh, no.
Up on it.
No,
Up there, she, I saw her.
we'll get you guys right here.
Over here.
Just in case.
Sir, we're in picture.
Yeah.
Oh, we do. Oh, right.
All gonna get-
Before you get going, I need
Thank you.
a minute.
Yeah.
Jump in.
We're in.
All right, have a meeting to go to right now.
I know. All right.
Do a bunch of.
Cassie, can we turn that agenda thing off? Really quick?
Maybe not.
Thank you. That way we won't have like glare. You have to go first. All right, now, 1, 2, 3. Awesome, thank you guys.
Perfect. See you, sir.
Please get smiles.
I'm
Glad
getting
y'all-
better at handing out my Pokemon cards.
Eventually Pokemon card.
Else too, but for now I get to hand.
Fantastic. Give a card.
My Brother Jacob got me this.
Right, yeah, just let me know.
Okay.
And
Carry him around.
I've had to get off.
Presentation.
Still got 'em.
With the
Still
cards in
wear
them.
'em.
With the cards in them.
That's the true story.
I don't know.
Legislators with their cards.
Unbelievable.
All right, we'll see you in about an hour.
It's worth talking about. I will.
Yeah,
I
would
have
you?
a phone
Yeah,
number,
or
then I'll let
email
him
it,
know
yeah.
I gave it to you, so if you contact him.
So we'll follow up.
Tell Troy.
All right.
Yeah, you did.
I'm gonna grab.
We hit a wall.
Yeah.
We got a few calls.
Okay.
All that.
You don't have to do that, so you-
Yeah, go ahead. For Kristen.
For the moment.
See you next week.
Craig,
Yes, sir.
are you just going to the restroom?
Oh, I was just gonna say a little, something to Woody, but I can do that in a moment.
Can I have just a minute?
Sure.
Time?
Thank you, I'm gonna